Insurance isn't one size fits all, and shopping for it shouldn't feel like squeezing into something that just doesn't fit. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they show you options that fit your budget. Enough hunting for discounts, trying to calculate rates, and tinkering with coverages. Maybe you're picking out your very first policy, or maybe you're just looking for something that works better for you and your family. Either way, they make it simple to see your options. No guesswork, no surprises. Ready to see how easy and fun shopping for car insurance can be? Visit Progressive.com and give the Name Your Price tool a try. Take the stress out of shopping and find coverage that fits your life on your terms. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Forever Dog.
When your first choice is a big old bus,
you turn around and boom, you end up with a sloppy seconds. Oh, diva. Our number is 213-536-9180. Oh, I forgot it's a song now. Our number is 213-536-9180. Our email is sloppysecondspot@gmail.com. Now, on with the show. Are you ready for some sloppy seconds? You stupid little fuck, you nasty little fuck, you dirty little fuck, you stupid little fucks. It's getting cold. You gotta stay inside still. I'm Big Dipper, and that's Meatball. Welcome back to Sloppy Seconds with Big Dipper. I'm Rachel, and that's Meatball. Welcome back to Sloppy Seconds with Big Dipper and Meatball.
I'm Rachel, that's Monica, and where is Phoebe? Her last name on the show is the word buffet, but pronounced funny.
Yeah.
But it's not like she... You know how, like, in classical characters, people are named for the job that they did?
Yes.
Like, but she didn't eat a lot.
No. You know, I am too young for Friends, so
Okay.
I only know, like, the classic episodes. I know Pivot. I know Turkey on the Head. I know, like, being locked out of the apartment trying to get in, I guess. Joey was trying to get in one time. I don't know.
Do you know
and
what
I know Joey had a spin-off show where he went to Miami, and that only lasted one season.
But I've never seen this, so drag me in the comments, but I've heard the show Episodes, which is apparently very, very good. A lot of people like it, is about the actor Matt LeBlanc sort of post-Friends, I think. I don't know. I've heard that's great. Something to think about and explore while you're staying inside.
Because we're not going to watch it. And then you can tell us about it when you call us at 213-536-9180.
What I do think is wild is that, again, fact check me, but Friends, you know, I think it was revealed that, like, Friends on the streaming service, like Friends on Netflix, was still making more money than new TV shows. Like, it has that much of a cultural hold, which is so crazy.
So crazy. People love it. And I just never, it's like the same with Seinfeld. I think that they're funny. There's really great episodes, but I've never been inclined to, like, watch those characters interacting for more than 30 minutes at a time. Like, I couldn't binge it.
I've been going back and watching, you know, a lot of new shows have appeared on Netflix. Like, we talked about how I was watching Girlfriends and, like, sort of 4 seasons in, I was like, I'm good. Like, they're doing the same thing over and over again. And I feel like Friends did that, but there was something about it that made it, like, a little, I don't know. Kept the audience guessing. Wait, I'm curious about these pumpkins we carved last week.
Oh, they already rotted. So they rotted. They're rotted. I put them out. They
rotted or they got eaten?
They got half eaten by a squirrel because there was, like, some insides and there's teeth marks. But, like, the pumpkin that we left on the back porch that wasn't carved had, like, a squirrel had eaten into it.
Oh. So
and then on the front porch, I think it ate the inside and then it molded up and they rotted and they collapsed.
So the pumpkin had gotten eaten out? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's take a little break and then we'll be back with our guest, which is so exciting.
Yes! Time to sell things.
We all have days when we want to eat well, but just don't have the time or the energy to plan, shop, and cook.
That's exactly where Factor comes in. They deliver fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs right to your door.
With Factor, you can stay on track with your nutrition goals, whether that's high protein, balanced meals, or overall wellness, without any extra effort.
The meals are fresh, never frozen, and ready in just 2 minutes, which makes it easy to fit into your routine.
You know, I love coming home after a long day and having a tasty and filling Factor meal. It's waiting for me, and I don't have to worry about shopping. It's quick and easy, and one less thing I need to think about when I get home.
You know, I'm feral for fish right now, and I always get my fix with Factor. I recently had their scampi-styled shrimp and salmon, and let me tell you, it did not disappoint.
So get Factor today and start enjoying delicious and nutritious meals.
Head to factormeals.com/sloppyseconds50off and use code sloppyseconds50off to get 50% off and free daily greens per box with new subscription only, while supplies last until September 27th, 26. See website for more details.
That's factormeals.com/sloppyseconds50, like the number, off. Sloppy Seconds 50 off. Okay, something about me. I love shopping. If you love shopping too, you have to check out Rakuten.
And all you have to do is shop, 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 shop. And with Rakuten, you get cash back and rewards on almost everything you buy.
Exactly.
Shop.
Homeware, daily essentials, jeans. We're talking eBay, CVS, and even Levi's.
Ooh, so I can buy a vintage couch, tons of paper towels, and grab a new pair of jeans and still get cash back.
And that's not all. You can even stack those rewards on top of sales and coupons.
But Big Dipper, how does this magic work?
Well, I'll tell you. Rakuten is paid by partner stores to send them shoppers, and then Rakuten passes on some of that money to you, the member.
Rakuten is so real for that.
Plus, Rakuten has 17 million members who are already saving. Don't you want to become one of them?
Join for free at Rakuten.com or download the Rakuten app and start saving money now.
That's Rakuten.com or download the Rakuten app today. Do you want to improve your sleep? Well, listen up and get a Helix.
Whether you sleep on your side, your back, your stomach, Helix makes premium mattresses that are designed to fit your specific sleep style.
You know, now that it's spring, why not upgrade your sleep game and get a Helix mattress?
And you know what?
What?
I can guarantee you that they have a mattress for you with over 20 different styles and models for you to sleep on. I love sleep. I can't get enough of it.
And I love my Helix mattress. So ever since I got the big and tall, I know we go on and on about it, but it's a perfect fit for me. I haven't had a mattress before that I was able to select a model from, and I'm so happy I got to do that with Helix.
And I, too, have the big and tall model, and it's perfect for my big and tall body. I loved it so much, I got a second one from a guest room.
True.
Yes, baby. And the people are sleeping great in there when they eventually do sleep in there.
Best of all, Helix delivers right to your door with free shipping in the US, and you can get 120-night sleep trial to make sure that it's right for you.
You also get peace of mind because Helix mattresses are backed by a limited lifetime warranty and have been recognized by experts at places like Forbes and Wired. And me. I am a sleep expert too.
Period. Go to helixsleep.com/sloppy to get up to 27% off site-wide during their Memorial Day sale.
That's helixsleep.com/sloppy, and make sure you enter sloppy seconds after checkout so that they know that we sent you.
helixsleep.com/sloppy.
Get yourself a Helix.
Okay, we are back.
And we're back!
And listen, I'm very excited for today because I feel like we have like a legitimate person on the show, which is sort
Our
of
first
like,
real guest.
We're normally just like texting our friends, but we had like a manager person sort of like inquire about this legitimate person being on the show, and I was like, they mean our show?
Yeah, I was very confused.
They want to come on our
are
show?
they sure they don't mean someone else's show where people listen to smart people talk?
Yes.
All right, so please welcome a New York Times top 10 best-selling writer, actor, director, journalist, podcast host, LGBTQ activist, and Miss Mama, Miss Ma'am. It's Gaby Dunn.
Yay.
Hi.
Hello.
I like this show. I'm a fan of this show. And also,
Yes.
like,
Oh my gosh.
I listen to Race Chaser with you. I've watched Dragula. You're a real person. I'm like, no, I like you guys.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Because when I looked you up, I saw your picture and I was like, okay, I know this person.
Yeah,
Why
me
do
too.
I know this person? And it was like, I went and looked and I realized it was, I think I watched a bunch of your, like, you used to direct and write for Buzzfeed.
I did. Yeah. I worked at Buzzfeed for probably like 8 months in 2014 or 2015, and that's still such a huge thing.
It's so
Wait,
weird.
why is it such a huge thing? You made such an impact in that time, or?
Yeah, I think it was like a golden era of BuzzFeed where there were like, it was like a cast that everybody really liked.
Mhm.
And I think like it was just kind of like an OG cast that then I think they tried to keep replicating and it didn't really work. And I was there with like Quinta and,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know, Ashley Perez and Eugene and the other Try Guys. And like,
Mhm.
it was kind of and nobody really knew what they were doing. And also the problem of being there at that time is that nobody really knew what they were doing. So,
Well, isn't that always sort of the case where it's like when the thing really has the pop,
mhm.
it's also like you ask people about it and they're like, well, it's kind of a clusterfuck and we didn't really know. And then
Yep.
all of a sudden, like everyone was paying attention to us and then it sort of imploded and now we all do other things.
Yeah.
That's 100% what happened. Yeah. That's and like it blew up. And then nobody really knew what that meant. And so then there were like all these sort of crazy contracts that were like, they tried to lock all of us down really quickly. And they were like, and this contract says that you like can't even talk to you can't even talk to anyone outside of the company. And you can't even like if we find out you're making videos for your own channel, like you're fucked. Like it was like very, very intense all of a
It
sudden.
was like holding you hostage. Is
Yeah,
that
a
why
little-
so many people made Why I'm Leaving BuzzFeed videos?
Mhm.
And they were all like very like,
Mhm.
I just gonna go. I'm gonna work on me now.
Yeah.
Did you ever make one?
Me and my comedy partner that I do my podcast with, we like did a little on our friend John Green's channel. Like he asked us to make a video and then we were like, okay, we're going to make it on that channel. But like we like, I don't know. It was, I kind of blew it up. Like I
Yeah.
wrote a bunch of articles and stuff being like, fuck you. As soon as my NDA was done, like the day my NDA ran out, I was like,
Yes, ma'am.
here's a bunch of articles about why this was fucked up. Here's 3 episodes of my own Bad with Money podcast about why this was fucked up. Here's like, well, I wrote this article called Get Rich or Die Vlogging. That was like, that's like what kind of blew up, which was about all the people that were working for work. We're doing YouTube stuff, but primarily a lot of them were doing BuzzFeed stuff. And they also had to have day jobs because BuzzFeed like wouldn't hire them, wouldn't give them health insurance, like wouldn't.
Right.
One of the craziest stories was my friend Brittany Ashley, who was like one of the most famous people on BuzzFeed at the time, but they wouldn't hire her as some sort of like weird power play, I guess. Like the guy in charge, Zay Frank, was like I think a bad person. But so he was like doing this power play of like getting her to come back for like $50 a shoot, but then not hiring her, even though she like really wanted to be hired. And it was this weird thing. And she worked at this restaurant. And then BuzzFeed threw their Golden Globes party at that restaurant. And she had to like serve at it. Like it was just like psychological torture that he was like very into. Yeah, he was like really into one time me and Allison had worked there and were like one of the top people. And I ran into him after we had left and he pretended to not know Allison's name. Psycho shit.
Whoa.
Yeah.
This sounds like Nexium sort of psychology.
This sounds like the
What what I wanted to say is I feel like waiting until your NDA runs out just to put everyone on blast from years ago is Meatball's mission
that's
statement
my
in life.
go-to.
I love to.
The
I
minute
love
that
to.
5 years is up, I gotta let everybody know what really happened.
I know
Yeah.
that Meatball has alarms on his calendar set
Yeah.
for when multiple NDAs are up to just sort of drag people.
And
It's
lawyers on
not-
speed dial when they come for me.
Yeah, it's not. It's not a great. Like, I think people handled their exits from BuzzFeed with grace, and
Right.
I handled mine by like throwing a Molotov cocktail and just being like, "I burn the bridge. I burn it." Like, whatever. And like, who can like. These are not people that are like Jonah Peretti busts unions. Like, these are not good people. So like,
Right.
whatever. But it was, yeah. I kind of left in like a and fuck you and fuck you and fuck you.
Right,
Like,
right.
Which is my instinct, which is not always the best instinct.
But
Well,
don't
Meatball?
you? I was about to say it's the same with me, but don't you feel better knowing that, like, at least no matter what, at least you stood up for yourself? Like, if the rest of the people were too afraid, you were like, at least I did what you were all afraid to do.
Yes, but then I think my career maybe has. I think if I had been in certain situations, I had been more gracious, but I can't resist.
Listen, you could have been more gracious, but I think that you're the only one that was on Good Morning America. So
That's true.
What's
That's
that,
true.
Tina?
Wait, so and I want to get into this because, so this was a great launching off point because it is such a fascinating, Brave New World, even though we're, over a decade into the idea of like creators, like YouTube creators, podcast creators, Instagram influencers, like the whole thing. It's still very up in the air how people work on that and monetize that because literally people will sit at home and make their own YouTube channel and work a 12-hour day, like being creative and not get paid for it. And then all of a sudden, they've created this like internet clout because of followers, because they're tapping into an audience, and then that can translate to money. But it is so wild that when large companies want to commodify that, they go, "Oh, we'll give you $50 to make a video."
Basically, yeah.
And
Because they have a platform.
Right. But this is something we talked about with or I've been having because I just put out this music video, this idea that like who's bigger? Is the individual, if they put it out on their own platform to their followers, does that actually reach more people? Or because it has a masthead over it, even if it reaches less people, does it legitimize it somehow? And I find that conversation so fascinating because literally one of them looks like, oh, I did a thing at home that sort of went viral on the internet. And the other one looks like from the outside world, I have a legitimate job over here. But which one is actually putting more money in your pocket?
Probably the independent person.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, all the videos got millions of views. I remember at BuzzFeed, they wouldn't, like, if your video got like 1 million views, they wouldn't give you a raise. They would just have this ceremony at the end of the week where they would give you like a pin. And then everyone had pins, like based on like how many million view videos they had. But like, and everyone was so excited to get pins. And I was like, guys, they're underpaying us severely.
Right.
But part of it is, here's the thing with these companies is that I was old to work there. So like everyone there was like 21, 22, 23. And when I started working there, I was 25, 26. So a lot of these people, it was their first job out of college and they were so scared of being fired and they really wanted to do a good job and they didn't know that like that wasn't enough money or whatever. They just wanted to get their foot in the door. And I was coming from a place where like I had been fired multiple times. Like I was like, this job is not that important to me in the scheme of jobs. Like
Right.
I worked at in the IT desk at like a fitness magazine and I just straight up lied and then got health insurance and then did all my doctor's appointments and then it took them 3 months to realize that I don't know anything about IT and to fire me. Like I don't I've been fired. Like it wasn't, but I think like a lot of these people, like, yeah, I think a lot of these people like were young and they don't like confrontation and they also don't or not like confrontation, but like they're people pleasers and they're young and it's their first job out of college and everyone is telling them like this is an amazing job and like and like, oh my God, I'm so jealous of you for having this job. And I was kind of like,
and it was like you were saying, it was the golden age, but from the outside looking in, BuzzFeed was like the coolest website for like
sure.
I know.
5 to 10 years. So if I was 21 and got a job there, I probably would have taken like punches just to work
exactly.
there.
That's what, and they count on that.
And they were treating you guys like Girl Scouts. Here's a little pin for 1 million views.
I know. But if you get 1 million views on your own channel, that's for you. I mean, YouTube is also like underpays people and puts Trump ads on your shit and demonetizes LGBTQ. Any of our videos that they try to say that they don't, but like
they do.
I've been in conversations with them where they've been like asked me to do pride things. And I'm like, I would love to do a pride thing. Unfortunately, you've demonetized every video with the word bisexual in the title that I've ever made. So that's going to be a no from me, dog. Like,
right.
But then I like don't.
And they literally put Trump ads on everyone.
Every video. What
like,
is that?
You're like, oh, can I refuse an ad, please?
Like, how can you ask me to do things and then demonetize the stuff that is queer and then act like that's not what's happening?
Right.
It's so weird. I mean, I don't know. I think I have a chip on my shoulder about places using queer people for like pride stuff and then privately being shitty. Like during
it's
Pride,
not even a chip. It's like a really good foothold.
I mean,
because it's a horrible thing that they do.
Like during Pride, I'm sure you guys get this too. Like during Pride, they want to do ads with us and stuff, and then it took one company a full year to give me like the $4,000 that they were going to give me for running a Pride ad, and I was like, look, if this was a regular ad, this would be shitty. But the fact that you like used a marginalized identity to like get money and then like didn't pay me for a full year and like made us chase you down is like for a pride ad, like really?
Well,
I mean,
it's
that's
so
the thing with drag queens. They always complain about being used as props, and then like they get to the shoot and they're getting dressed in a bat. Like they just take full advantage of gay people just to say that they have gay people.
Right.
But like,
Meatball, say we when you say drag queens. You have to include yourself in that. I know you hate drag, but you have to say we.
No, I always make sure to get paid. I'm not the one who's getting scammed.
Just kidding.
So
I wanna use all of this conversation to sort of transition us into you being like a financial coach.
Yeah.
So you started with the podcast called Bad with Money?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I it was not my intention. I had come off of BuzzFeed and I had written that article that had sort of blown up the idea that, I mean, I had been doing Postmates at the time. Like it sort of blew up this idea that content creators were rich, like automatically. You know, I talked to friends of mine who were YouTubers, worked at Starbucks, did tours at museums, whatever. And people were like, oh my God, you guys have day jobs? And they just didn't even understand. And I had always had trouble with money, but I had always skated by. Like I would either like sell like some electronics or I would like get $50 somehow or like whatever. I kind of never, which like part of me is like, if I hadn't been able to like pull shit together, maybe I would have figured things out in a more permanent manner sooner. But and I had done internships where they were not paid. I mean, I worked at Viacom for a whole summer. They didn't pay me. Which now goodness. I think someone sued and now they have to pay. But yeah, I mean, I was frustrated. And so I made this podcast called Bad with Money because I was like, I don't even know, like I listen to financial podcasts and it's like another language. Like I need someone to come on my show, and I had like the woman from Ellevest who's like this very like high up investment woman. And I was like, hi, so I guess my first question is, what is a stock? Like I'm not like
I agree completely.
There was no like I don't need anyone to come on my show and be like da 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 like mutual funds, ETF, whatever. I'm like, oh, we need to know what a bank account is here first. Like
right.
We need to understand interest. Like so so I was learning alongside everybody, and I would call, I mean, on the show, I would call my bank, I would call my student loan provider. I would say like, hey, I'm recording this. Is that okay? And they'd be like, okay. And I would just like ask questions or be like, my mom was always like, you don't have to pay your student loans on time. And I'd be like, I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
And so
I mean,
like,
you don't have to.
yeah,
But
she would
there
be
is
like,
a consequence to it.
So then I called, like, I asked her, I recorded her, and then I called the student loan people and was like, my mom says that we don't have to pay these on time. Is that true? And the woman was like, no, that's not true. Like, I would just like, so I was kind of figuring things out very publicly. And it's still, and what's upsetting is that as I got further into it, it kind of, the show is like the radicalization of Gaby Dunn. Cause I kind of, as I further get into it, I'm like, all of a sudden, like, I'm like 6 seasons in and I've just gone like full leftist, like full socialist, like
Yes.
like the more you learn, the more you're like, holy shit, like this is this is insurmountable for some people. And like, if you start off behind the 8 ball, like you're fucked. And like the way that the US works with like medical debt, or like, I just saw a Reddit post where they were like, someone was like, if you're in the US and you had COVID, like how much did you end up having to pay? And so many of the top comments were people in other countries being like, you have to pay for COVID treatment?
I mean,
and we're like,
oh my God.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we have to pay for everything.
Someone's like 2-day hospital visit I saw was like over $250,000.
Right. And so everything is broken, and everything's kind of broken on purpose. And so it's become, now the show has become like very, like way more about like the ways in which things are broken, but also sort of like things you can do, but it's more broadly political. And then the other thing that's crazy is that to learn all of this stuff that like the average person does, like you're a teacher and then you also take care of your household, or you like, are a bus driver and you also take care of your household. I had to turn it into a full-time job just to be able to learn about all this stuff. So I had to make a podcast to, one, motivate myself, and two, to even have the time. So like, how does the average person who's like working their job also be on top of all of this stuff? I don't know.
I think about this all the time. I talk to my parents about this. Like, obviously my parents are, well, not obviously, but my parents are boomers, and like the world in which they were born into, like the generation above them, it was like build a life for our children. And then for them, it was like, we've built this life and it's up to you to like make it greater and bigger, and like buy real estate and like put an inheritance together, like do all this stuff. Now, again, these are both people who, we're dealing with white privilege here in the suburbs, et cetera, et cetera. So then what I was told as a child was, you can do whatever you want. Yep. Follow your dreams. Yep. Oh, you want to be an artist? Go for it. Oh, you want to go to school for theater? Sure. You want to take that computer coding class? Oh, it doesn't look good to you? Fuck that. You don't need a skill. You don't need a vocation. And so I do feel very lucky. I always say this when people talk to me about like being a performer or a creative producer. Like, I feel lucky that the ideas that I come up with in my head, I have the skills and I was afforded the opportunity. And I have like the drive and the passion to turn those into things that then I can make money off of. Like, I feel very lucky for that. But I sometimes go like, I wish someone had told me, you want to be an artist, great, but the first thing you need to do is get a damn job. And start saving for your retirement and do all this stuff. It's like, I'm in my mid-30s and I'm finally sort of turning my gaze towards, oh, maybe I should think about when I'm 80 and I don't have kids to take care of me. What if I'm going to get stuck in some room somewhere with no windows and die on a bed because, our society doesn't take care of old people?
We can only hope.
You ever think about that, Meatball? I really think I'm like thinking about that.
I've been also thinking about how, like, although my parents were amazing and great and like set me up for such a great life, they also, I think, kind of like handicapped me in that they never taught me about money. They never taught me about interest. There was no course on like writing a check or balancing a check, like doing all of that.
A lot of that is on purpose because it's taboo to talk about money. It's a downer. And then in school, I mean, we don't have a financial literacy class.
Yeah.
We don't
I
have
love that.
We don't have anybody telling us, like, it really is up to your guardians. Like, we don't have anybody telling us get a bank account. We don't have anybody telling us where to. And also, I think like it's very much like it feels like you missed a day in school. So it feels weird to ask other people because everyone is pretending that they know. So you'll be like,
yeah.
So it feels weird. It feels weird to be like, hey, like, is this like one thing that happened was I was working at BuzzFeed and I had my bank account open. And the guy next to me, who was my boyfriend for a little bit, he was like rich, came from wealthy family. Allison, who sat behind me, who's like my friend who I work with, she comes from a very wealthy family. And so I'm like on my computer and I'm looking at my bank account and the guy was looking at his bank account and I saw a number and I went, I have that too. And he was like, what? And I was like, that's your credit card, right? And it was like, I don't know, $23,000. And he was like, no, that's my checking account. And I was like, and then Allison was like, do you have $23,000 in debt? And I was like, no. And I was like, I misunderstood. I didn't. And then both of them were like, wait, what? Yeah, they were both like, wait, what? And I was like, you what? Leave me alone. And that was how they and that
but
was
there
how
are probably so many. I mean, there not
I
probably.
Never
There
said
are
anything.
so
Never.
many people who have $23,000 in credit card debt.
Never would have said anything, and and their reaktion too was what made me go, "Oh, this is not right."
That is so wild.
But
so
also,
crazy.
They again both came from wealthy families, and it's also been really enlightening working with Allison in some ways because we get paid the same amount. So like, let's say we each get like $25K for something we've written, like we wrote a book or whatever.
Yeah.
She's plus $25K and I'm maybe plus $5K because I paid off a student loan. You know what I mean? Like so I can very clearly see someone who's had the same payments as me that it's not the same.
And I got to tell you, the two things that you've said out loud, blah, 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 $4,000, blah, 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 $25,000, even you just saying a number, I immediately was like, oh, should we bleep that? Like that's like,
I know.
It's so wild how ingrained it is to not want to talk about money.
I like to talk on the podcast in specific numbers.
Yeah.
And I like to talk in specifics because I think nobody does. And it's also hard because it's embarrassing in some ways because when I first started making money, I did not know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. So like, the first payment that we got for like our first show, which was like $50K, we sold a TV show. I was like, I don't know what to do with this. I moved to a bigger apartment. Why did I do that? I didn't need to do that. I was like, I felt this pressure then. I was like throwing parties. I felt like, okay, I have to act like someone who has money now, which is very nouveau riche. And
of course.
And I went like full just like what my Florida brain imagines is classy. And because I've joked, I'm gonna get when I have money, I'm gonna get so much work done. I'm gonna have French tip nails. I'm gonna be like, this is like my trailer park brain. And so so I was doing, and then I blew through all that money, and then people were like, well, what, you had money, like what happened? And I was like, I had no training. Like I went from $0 to like this amount of money where I was like, I don't know what you do with that. So it's just as bad. And sometimes even like there's this book by Rachel Sherman called Uneasy Street, which is talking about rich people. And rich people have no clue where their money's going. There's like one part where this woman is like talking to her husband, like they're millionaires or something. And she's like, what did we spend $65,000 on this month? And he was like, I don't know. And she was like, I don't know either. Like they just don't know.
Wow. How do you not know?
I don't know because they're so rich they just don't know. And I would qualify that as bad with money. Meanwhile, I think like the single mother in East Texas or whatever knows where every dollar goes.
Yeah,
so is that person bad with money? Like, what does that mean?
Oh, wow.
That is so fascinating. Wait, so have you ever, just because I have to come from the queer angle here.
Yeah.
Have you ever sat down with Suze Orman?
We did.
You did?
Yes.
Oh.
Orman is my guest on episode the 4th season, I think. First guest, the premiere.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
we
Okay,
chatted.
Did you put on a jacket?
I did
you
not.
have a
She
blazer?
did invite me to the private island she lives on. Okay, so
What?
she lives on a private island with her partner, and they're very good at fishing. Is
And
the whole
good
thing.
with money.
And go with money.
Well, okay. So we had a real time. She reached out. She's very intense, and
yeah.
she was like, "I want." She's like she says your name a lot when she talks to you, which is I think
don't
a
like that.
tactic.
Yeah.
And she's very intense. We come from very. I mean, I was like interested in talking to her because we're both queer women. Like, I think in terms of queer women in financial media, it's me and her. Like,
Right.
that- And so I think, but we come at it from such different ways. And like one of the things that came up was I was like, I don't think I would ever call the people that I am giving advice to stupid. Like, I don't think I would ever come at it from this way that I think a lot of these financial gurus do, where they're just like, no, you do not buy that. You're a dummy, da-da-da. And she uses the word dummy a lot. And she uses like, and so I was kind of like, I don't think I would use that language to talk to people. And do you think that like maybe it comes from like a place of, do you think that maybe you've lost touch? And she was like, talked around it, was like, no, like I come from, I was a waitress and this and that. But like in my head, I always thought of it as like the bit in 30 Rock where Tracy can't do stand-up anymore because he's too rich. So he's like, you ever get a bad lobster on Cape Cod? And people are like, what? And so like I think that is the vibe a little.
You from a private island and you're like, do you think maybe you're a little out of touch?
Yeah. I mean, I was glad to have her on the show, and I think like it was interesting. And she was like, she's like a mean mommy bully. Like she was like, I'll come on, like she emailed me first and then she was like, I'll come on your show if you, she wanted me to like write down all the money that I have, like to like write down, like she wanted me to like,
she wanted to like do her thing on you.
Yeah, she wanted me to like compile some information for her. And then when I was like, hey, so we're scheduling whatever, she was like, wrote me back and was like, Gabby, did you get me the information? Like she was very like intense. And I was like, I think I'm being bullied by Suze Orman.
Well, I don't think of her as her anymore. I just think of her as Kristen Wiig doing her on SNL.
I know.
So I feel like I just would have like superimposed Kristen Wiig's face for the whole conversation.
I'm looking at the emails that she sent me, and it's like they're unhinged, but it's so great.
I love
she's
that.
like very she's just like very interested in me trying to like make the most money as possible, and I wasn't as interested in that. And the last email signs off with, now I'm an older gay woman who's on a mission to master fishing. So up to you guys. Like saying like if I want to have her on the show. She seemed to, I mean, I appreciate it because like how often do I think like the older gay community doesn't want anything to do with us, I think sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think she was just like, I remember being a young gay woman with like a lot of, wonderment or whatever. And, I think that she's very, what we came to was like, I'm very interested in the whys and the social justice aspect of it. And she's interested in, she's
Capitalism.
like, none of that matters. Make yourself, like, do the best by yourself. Make the most money for yourself. Here's how you can do that. Don't worry about other people.
Yeah.
And I think that's two different schools of thought that we have there.
Yes.
That's correct.
That's two different generations of thought.
So let's take a quick break and then we'll be back with more chats. More chats.
More chat. I have to blow my nose. We're back. Have you seen Wicked?
The musical?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I cried though because I wanted to see it with Idina Menzel when I was 18, and it was an understudy, and so I cried the whole time.
Oh, you probably saw Shoshana Bean.
I know, but I was like a little gay child bitch, and so my parents. It was my graduation gift, and we flew to New York, and for me to see Idina Menzel, and then she wasn't in the show.
Oh no!
And then instead of being like, "It's okay, mom and dad, whatever," I fucking cried the whole time, the whole show. Like such
I
an
thought
asshole.
you cried because it was so beautiful, but I understand.
No,
now.
I cried because I wanted to see Idina Menzel, and then my parents were still like, "That's a straight girl." Nothing weird about this.
When did you come out to your parents, or did it just kind of happen?
I thought I came out to them. Well, I was doing stand-up, and I was talking about being bisexual in my stand-up, and they had seen the stand-up, and then my dad, I was like with my dad at my older brother's place one time when I was in college, and he was like, "What's wrong with you? You're in a bad mood." And I was like, "It's this girl or whatever." And he was like, "What?" And I was like, this girl that I'm seeing. And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "I fully came out to you 2 years ago." And he was like, "Wait, do it again. I wasn't paying attention." And I was like, "Oh my God." And so I like sat and was like, this is this. And I was like, "I talk about it in my stand-up." And he was like, "I just thought it was like part of the act." And I was like, why would that be?
Interesting.
Isn't that crazy how people can just put blinders on and be like, "Oh, that's the art. That has nothing to do with what we're really about over here."
My parents are
like when I was a dancer.
Like when you were a dancer and your parents were like,
and the audience, and I was like up there in rhinestones killing it, and they're like, "That's definitely a straight kid."
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna like women.
My parents are lovely. They are nuts. And my dad's was like an alcoholic and an addict for most of my life. Mm-hmm. He's sober, but there's this beautiful narcissism where like it's this thing where I'm like, I'm lucky because I'm like, they didn't really care about the gay stuff. Like they really were just like, sure, absolutely, whatever. And they've never like batted an eyelash at it. They're very supportive. They had like, my mom had like a rainbow background on her phone. And I was like, what is, and they live in Florida. And I was like visiting and I was like, what is that? And she was like, it's for you. And I was like, I don't live here. But like, cool.
Thanks.
Big sign in their yard, like LGBTQ for Hillary during the election. I was like, okay, again, like I don't live here.
That's amazing. My parents have like a little pride flag up, and like my dad has it on the bookshelf when he teaches his college class over Zoom. So there's like, I'm like, if they don't know you're married, you might have some young gay kids being like, "Oh, my professor is gay."
Yeah, exactly.
But it's for me. Yeah, I love that. But anyways,
it's my mom is like, they're very leftist. So my mom is like, I was like, she's on Facebook being like, this legislation affects my gay daughter. You know it.
Right.
Like she loves, my partner right now is transmasculine. And I was like, that she is like at the synagogue being like, my trans son-in-law. Like she's like loving it. This is thrilling for her. But they are like, part of it is like, people are like, that's so lucky. But part of it is also that they don't care about anything that isn't themselves. So like they don't, like it doesn't like it's lovely that they are like so supportive of the gay thing. But part of me is also like, but like it makes sense because they would have to care what I'm up to in some ways. Like they would have to, if it doesn't directly affect them, it's like it doesn't matter in a way.
I feel like my parents are very
to then
similar.
Create their experience,
right?
Because their experience is we are the parents of,
right?
Rather than like our daughter is.
Yeah, no, that's a great way of putting it. Yeah. I mean they're very. It is this. I like when I came out, I was sort of like, "Do you guys have any questions?" And they were like, "No." And I a little bit was like, you don't want to know like my journey or like my story or like, you guys don't want to hear like how this has been for me.
Right.
And they were like, no. And I was like, okay.
All right.
Okay.
Good.
Like
insane.
Yeah. Like it's been like a therapy journey in some ways of being like rewriting the narrative of like, this is lovely. And also I would love if they at any point in a conversation asked, how are you? We can go hours. I've tested it. We can go hours without any questions about how I am or what I'm doing.
But it's just like my parents, I feel like, are very similar. Like I will talk to my mom on the phone for like an hour and a half, and not once will it be like, and anyway, what are you up to?
Nothing.
Really?
Nothing.
When I told you that when I came out with makeup, I like told my mom and I sent her some, and she like never talked about it.
Yep. Yeah,
I've told you this. My parents do not care what I'm up to or what I'm doing.
Yeah, like it's very strange. Like they care, but it's I don't know. Like they're Jews, so they like nitpick and stuff, but it's like it's very, or they'll call me to be like, do you know what your sister's doing? Like your sister's doing this. Do you know what your sister's up to? And I'm like, I
You're
don't
like, do
care.
you know what I'm up to?
No, this is such a dark joke, but I've always said like I could be standing on the Golden Gate Bridge like about to kill myself, and my dad could call, and it could be 2 hours before he's like, "Where are you?"
Oh my god! Wait, I have a question. Do you have one of these? Are you a checkbook person, or is it all digital?
I have a checkbook.
Okay.
Why? What do you use checks for anymore?
What do I use checks for? Like rent? I don't know.
I over-ordered. I think what happened
My checkbook is 80s.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I over-ordered checks. Like when I opened my bank account,
I have 1,000.
Like,
I have a bajillion.
You can order checks. I was like, great. And then I put them somewhere because I really only used it to pay rent. So I only needed one checkbook for like 2 years. So I put them somewhere, and then I ran out of the one checkbook, and I was like, and I ordered more, and then I found them. So now I have so many checks, and I'm getting ready to move, and every new landlord is like, we do it all digitally, just Venmo me your rent. And I was like, what am I gonna do with all these?
Did you get them specially? Like, did you get a design or something?
No, I mean, they're different colors. They're like a pastel. They like change colors, everyone. And they have my name and the address, my current address on them.
I like fully became my mom because I was like, ooh, they have angel designs. Like mine is like, I wish I had one to show. It's like angels, those like weird. And I was
did that with my debit card. I was like, oh, this one has big semi trucks on it. I got a masculine debit card for no apparent reason. Like, why do I need a debit card with 3 semi trucks on it?
See it, but this is like angels playing the lute. It's like, why?
I one time when I first got my credit card, you could like put a picture on it, but I sent the wrong file in, so I just got it back with like a picture of a file.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so it was just this white credit card that was like error, and I was like, what am I? This is not what I wanted.
That is funny.
So funny. That's
it's
very
somewhere
funny.
in here. I would go find it, but I don't want to dig around.
So listen, we're nearing the end, but it seems like you host, I don't know, 6 podcasts. You have like 12 books. You do
3
stand
TV
up.
shows.
You sell TV shows.
You're from Florida.
Do you put out a graphic novel recently? I mean, it's like, what's the deal? Do you relax? Do you like just chill
Yeah.
out?
You seem rich. Do you need a personal assistant?
No, I had an assistant for the book, which is great. And I am very fine collaborating. Like the person who does the thing best, let them do it. I don't want to do it. Like with my graphic novel, people were like, "Did you draw this?" And I was like, "Girl, no." Like there's somebody who's good at drawing who did that. Like I had an Audible original come out, which was called Apocalypse Untreated, which was about mental health. And then I have bipolar disorder, and I go through mania and depression. And so when I was writing that, like midway through, I had like a very bad depressive episode, and I brought on a friend of mine. I just like paid her and was like, "You're my co-writer now." And like she did Punch Up, and like her name's Brittany Nichols. And like I just like I'm very with the Bad with Money book. I was like freaking out, and then I was like, "Wait a minute, you can hire a research assistant." So like I brought on this is another reason why I have no money, by the way, is because I'll like bring on an assistant, or for a lot of the stuff I have sensitivity readers. So I'll have like Asian American sensitivity reader, trans sensitivity reader for like all these characters that, or like, and so because of that, and also let me tell you, publishing houses don't pay for that. Like the company doesn't pay for that. Like it comes out of my own pocket. Like when we toured for the book, I paid for ASL interpreters at every stop, but nobody else. No, you know what I mean? They're not going to cover that. So I end up losing a lot of money for being a nice person. But I also I also am good at collaborating with people. So I delegate sometimes, or like, which I feel like people are afraid to do, or they're afraid to say that they do, or they're afraid to, like, I had multiple friends helping me. I paid them, but like transcribing for, the book and stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, that's totally this thing that we all think, these amazing sort of like auteurs who do everything themselves. It's like, no, bitch, you can't make a movie with one person. Yeah. Yes, it was that person's idea. They wrote it, they directed it, but there's a whole team of people. But the optics is like, this person by themselves did all the work.
And also most of the directors that we lionize and love, their editors are the ones who are really doing the heavy lifting.
Go on, that is very true.
And a lot of their editors are women. But yeah, I mean, I am a workaholic. I definitely feel like garbage if I don't have a new project, and like I have a lot of like self-worth stuff, especially in the pandemic where I've been dealing with, would anybody love me if I wasn't making them money? Which is even like friend, I think. And
what's the answer? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I don't know. I had like a very sad thing where like a editor that I had worked with many times on books, like I stirred a controversy on Twitter, and then she was like, had to put pause on something. But instead of reaching out to me, like, this is like someone I consider a friend, she didn't call me. Like, she just talked to my manager. And I was like,
what?
Really? Yeah. And for some reason, that's the part that is eating at me, because it feeds into my idea that nobody cares about me unless I can make the money. And I was like, see, I knew it. But like,
yeah, that is so interesting, especially at a certain level when a lot of the professional communication is meant to go through the proper channels, even if you have like a friendship relationship, when people sort of default to the like, these are the standards and practices. So like, I'm emailing your manager, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I thought we knew each other.
Pick up the phone,
so
give me the benefit of the doubt, ask me how it's going. You know what I mean? Like, it was so bizarre. So like that was bothering me. And like, I with friends, sometimes I'm like, are they, and they are my friends. They are. But in my mind, I'm like, are they my friends, or are they waiting for me to give them a job? Like, it's like my own self-worth, which like, I don't know. I think as you get, and the pandemic is forcing me to reckon with that, because I don't have, I don't have, like, certain things are on pause, and like, I don't have the like control that I once had. And so I scramble, but I'm very proactive. Like, I scramble, like I'll be like, I don't have enough things. Who's this editor that I worked with one time 5 years ago? Maybe they want to give me a job. Like, I'm very intense. So I don't, and then when I go through all of that, then like a month later, all the contracts come in, and I'm like, I've agreed to do 400 things. I've made a mistake.
I know
is me
that
every
feeling.
time.
Yeah. Well, what I will say is, you're talking about your self-worth being linked to being able to give people jobs and money. My self-worth is linked to what? Fucking
sex.
So we have landed at our final segment, which
that is also a thing for me as well. Yeah.
Oh, great. Then I think we'll have a juicy conversation here in our segment, which we call Fuck Talk.
That's from Wicked.
That's from
now.
The
this
film.
is the time of the show where we, if you feel like sharing an uncomfortable or strange sex story that's happened to you, or that you were a part of, or that you just saw from a distance in a
That
park.
you witnessed.
Yeah. You
God.
can easily tell that story now. For
Are
instance,
you as open about your sex life as you are about your financial life?
I
Yes.
am. Yeah. I
Yeah.
was open about that stuff first. And everyone, that's part of why I started talking about money, because everyone was like, wow, you're so brave. You talk about so many taboo
So
things. And I was
brave.
like, you don't even know. I was like, I'll tell you all this shit. I was like, you know what? I won't tell you that I went through my car for quarters yesterday. Like, I was like, that's the real embarrassing thing. I'll be like, oh my God, you share so much. I was like, yeah, that, like, you don't even know. That's my real secret was money. But you deflect
That's
by
so
saying other
crazy.
things that seem brave.
Yeah. Dipper, do you have any fun stories this week?
Well, all that conversation about like coming out just made me think about, I don't know if I ever told this story, but this is like an old sort of like embarrassing college story. I came out when I was a senior in high school, but I never acted on it. You know, I think a lot of people sometimes like act on it like in a closet somewhere at a party, but then they're going, but it was like, I knew I was gay and I came out and I was very much like, I am gay, but I like didn't do anything sexual for a long time.
Sure.
But I remember my first kiss was in a game of Spin the Bottle. So it was in this
high school?
in college,
In college.
which
In
is
college.
crazy.
No, you've already told this story.
Oh, I did.
Wait.
Yes, that you kissed a boy,
No.
but
I
in
kissed the
Spin
boy. It was great.
In Spin the Bottle, it was all boys, or you could have landed
No,
on
it
a
was
girl.
mixed. It was
Lucky
so
you.
It was yeah, exactly. It was everybody was playing.
Yeah.
And the first spin that I did, it landed on this really hot guy who I don't
Lucky.
think was gay, but we kissed and it was really hot and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then
Hard.
you know,
hard as a rock.
yeah, exactly. And then it landed on a girl who we were all up on campus for the summer being orientation leaders. So we were like greeting all the new freshmen or whatever. So he was up there doing summer school. So I didn't really know him. So it was even hotter. But she was like one of my like coworkers.
Oh, man.
And I believe she was like a Christian who like wore a cross on her neck.
Ooh,
So
baby.
I French kissed him and it was really hot. But then with her, it was sort of like just like this little peck. And then I realized that I hadn't kissed a girl since like 7th grade when I had like fake girlfriends.
Right.
So I was also like, whoa, that was wild too. Like it was a pretty like psycho thing. And now when I think about that, it's like, I don't even think about kissing anymore because kissing is always like dicks are out and dicks are going in
Right.
butthole. You know, there's other things
Yeah.
happening. But that was just such an isolated like kissing story.
How romantic.
What's the pandemic doing? My partner is on like the scruffs and grinders of the world, but like it seems like a mess. It seems like people are just straight up lying about being tested, or like
Yes.
they don't care, or like what is going on?
They don't. I don't know.
Well-
I mean, I'm not on the apps, but from what I understand, everyone is horny still, and
Yes.
they're all faking like they got tested
Yeah,
2
they're
days
faking
ago,
negative
and it's
tests.
negative and stuff. And it's like, what are we supposed to start now? Like asking to see the results, or like you better add me, like email it to me when you get the results, honey.
Yeah. I mean,
It's so
I-
crazy.
I shared this on the podcast, but sort of like last month, I think it was last month or maybe the month before. I don't know. At this point, it's been too long, but I reconnected with sort of like a regular fuck buddy that I had, or I guess more appropriately, suck buddy. And I was like,
Dipper
what have
only
you been
sucks the dick.
right.
I was like, what have you been up to? And he was like, blah, 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 you know, nothing and no one. And so we basically reconnected and sort of check in and ask about what the other person has been up to and when they got tested, et cetera, et cetera. And I, you know, like I know where he lives. I know his address. You know, it's like I've known him for 2 years. Like I feel pretty comfortable with him. But there are a lot of people out there, like I get messages all the time that are like, I've been taking loads all day. Come fill me up. I'm like ass in the air, ready to go. And I'm like, girl, you don't even know. Like, there is a pandemic. And guess what? The numbers are back up on the rise.
Uh-huh.
I don't think anything would keep people from the grinder situation.
No.
I think it could
when
be like
people get
literal
horny,
zombies outside, and they'd still be like, "Come over."
Yes.
They'd be like, does that zombie boner still work?
Yeah, like yeah. I mean,
It's
I
just
just-
crazy.
Your story just reminded me of a time when I hooked up with like a theater camp counselor, but it was after camp. It was like It was that thing where I was a senior, so I was 17. I was basically 18. I think I was 18 at that point.
You love to tell your
Basically
underage
18.
And
stories.
I'm trying to get these people arrested. No, I know that I was 18 because it was the summer and my birthday is in the summer. So I was 18 and I was about to like go off to college, but it was my last year to go to this theater camp. But it was like post theater camp. Everyone went home to their different places in Texas, and then we all met up again in Austin, Texas, like just the students. And they're like, oh, some of the counselors are in town. Like, we should invite them to this house party. And so we're all drinking. And one of them, I remember I was like, I thought he was cute, but he was also straight. And he like cornered me in this laundry room and put his arms on the wall. And he's like, how do you know you're gay? And I was like, I just know I'm gay. Like, and he's like, would you tell your parents you're gay? And I'm like, I already did. And then he was like, but how would you, like, what makes you feel like you're gay? And I was like, I don't know. I just love being gay and men, and I'm not attracted to women. And he's like, so if I pulled my dick out right now, you would suck it? And I was like, I don't know. I'd have to look at it. And he pulled it out. And then I was like, oh yeah, I'd suck it. And then he like took me to a closet in this stranger's house. And like, I started to suck it and he couldn't get hard. What is that?
That
mean
is
for
a
him?
journey. What is going on for that person psychologically?
He needed to know. I think he wanted. He is now gay and married to a man.
He was asking the tough questions.
He needed to know because he needed to know. And then it turns
Yeah.
out
So
that I
you're
was not his
bad
cup of soup.
So you're bad at sucking dick? You can get him hard?
Bitch, no. I mean, maybe. I was 18, so maybe I was.
I think there was a lot mentally going on for that person.
Yes,
that, like,
it sounds
to
like
take,
it.
I don't
literally
think the
take
most-
me to a closet.
I don't think the most sexual start is, how do you know you're gay?
To trap me in a room and be like, how do you know you're gay?
How do
And
you
I was
know?
like, oh, honey.
What's
Yeah.
the quiz? Send me to the Buzzfeed quiz so I can
Yeah,
figure
exactly.
out
Am
if I'm
I gay? BuzzFeed quiz. Oh my God.
Oh, Lord.
I had you made me I was trying to think of something I haven't talked about, but you reminded me of I had dated this girl and she was like a lesbian, capital L. And then we were like on and off or whatever in college. And she was a literature major, and she had a professor that was a guy that was like clearly in love with her, like was just obviously in love with her. And he was like a hot professor, like on Rate My Professors. Everyone was like, he's so hot. And
professors.
yeah. And and so she had like a party near the end of graduation, and he came to the party and was like clearly in love with her. And then like came up to talk to me and was like, you're so-and-so's ex-girlfriend, right? And I was like, yeah, like, and he was like, like just wanted to talk about her. And I was like, okay. And then I, for some reason, was like, do you want to get out of here? Then he was like, yeah, okay. And so we left, and then we hooked up at his very small studio apartment, which was all the
Drag
walls
him,
were
drag him.
Bad at
all
money,
the
bad at
walls
money.
were covered in books. Like it was like that kind of like sad hot professor guy who like was just like all the walls were covered in books, like messy desk, like just
I've
like
seen that episode of SVU.
yeah. And then so then we hooked up. Then I like fell asleep. The next morning he was like, hey, and he was like being weird, and then he was like, hey, so, and I was like, I'm 18 and I'm about to graduate. You're fine. And he was like, you're not gonna and I was like, I will not be at school next year. I'm an adult. Like I
my
don't.
God.
And I was like, you're panicking because you think that like I'm a current student. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, I'm not. You lucked out. And then I left.
Do you okay, so
That's insane.
Yeah, there's
This
a
is-
lot happening there.
do you think that he was more inclined did he also have a crush on you, or do you think
Oh,
that
I had
you
not
were
met him. I didn't know him.
Oh, okay.
My roommate, who was my best friend at the time, was a literature major, and she had been in his class, and she always talked about how hot he was.
Got
And then
it.
Always
I
the
knew
literature
from
teachers.
I knew from my ex-girlfriend that he was like obsessed with her.
Because part of me is like, if you were like, I used to date so-and-so, so she's been on this body.
That's what it was.
I think that's
That's
exactly
100%
what it
what it
was.
was.
Okay, okay.
He couldn't have her, so he wanted to fuck her ex-girlfriend. That was the
Yes.
whole thing.
Okay, great.
That was 100% was going on for him. And like
you were
was
like,
very clear.
Yes, I love that.
And
And
then he regretted it.
And I think he was just like, wait, like he hadn't asked He hadn't
I
asked.
wonder how many students he had hooked up with that were like
That's
underage and that
right.
you were. Yeah.
But I was
Yeah.
like, don't care. I didn't care. Like, I got home. I like went home and woke up my roommate and was like, I fucked, said the professor's name.
See,
She was like,
that
what? And I was like, oh yeah. And she was like,
Oh, yeah.
wait,
That's me, baby.
what? But like, now looking back, I'm like, there's so many layers. And
There's
like,
a lot.
I love that.
Listen,
yeah.
I've been roped into so many people's sexual mishandling and traps in their minds.
Yeah.
It's
Meatball
not for
gets
me.
the traps.
I was
Meatball
I
gets
not
the
always
traps.
get
roped.
trapped.
I was like, do you
Oh,
want to
yeah.
leave?
You
I
did the
was
roping.
like, I don't know what's going on here for you psychosexually, but do you want to get out of here? It's
Sometimes-
appealing to me for some
Yes.
reason.
Sometimes that's like the hottest thing. If you see someone has some like damaged thing and you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Let me
I'm
fix
ready to be their trigger and I can pull them into this thing. And if they want to agree to do it and it's a fucked up reason why, but I feel great about it, let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. I was like, okay, whatever. Like I also knew of him and I like from
Right.
rumors and stuff. And I was like, what am I going to leave school and not have sex with this dude? Like, yeah, for sure. But also I was like, I just remember the darkness of being like, I know that you're freaking out and I know why you're freaking out. And I'm 18 and I'm also not going to blow up your life. So good day, sir. Let's never talk again. It's fine. You're
I love-
sweating,
Oh my
but you,
goodness.
you took a gamble and I'm the right one. See you later.
Well, as Suze Orman would say, listen, Gabby, thank you, Gabby, for being with us today,
Gabby.
Oh
Gabby.
my God. No, thank you for having me. I love you. I'm such a fan. I love you guys so much.
Well,
Oh, thank
likewise, we
you.
appreciate it. People can follow you at Gabby Road.
On Instagram, yeah.
On
it's a
Instagram.
Beatles pun.
That's 1B.
GABYROAD. Yeah.
That's
and then on
it.
Twitter, GABYDUNN. And then I have
And
a podcast that just came out, Audible original, called Apocalypse Untreated. But I also have a bunch of books. Get the Bad with Money book and the Bad with Money podcast, since we talked about that so much. And hopefully it's helpful to you in some way.
You are such a busy person with
I
a very
can't- I
impressive
don't know
amount
how
of
you have
products in the
time.
world.
I'm
really
I'm scared
fantastic.
of death and I'm running really hard away from it.
Well, I think that's what we're going to call the show, Scared of Death
Scared of
and
Death.
Running.
All right.
Which will be fantastic. So thanks so much for listening to Sloppy Seconds. You can follow us on Instagram at SloppyPod. Send us an email at sloppysecondspod@gmail.com or call in with your fuck talk story and we will play your voicemail on Tuesday. That phone number is 213-536-9180.
That was in sync for me. You can follow Big Dipper at Big Dipper Jelly on Instagram and me at Spiciest Meatball on Instagram or Fat Drag Meatball on Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't ever miss an episode, which now come out every Tuesday and Friday.
Okay, that's it. We did it.
Goodbye. Doodle-doo-doo. Forever Dog. To listen to Sloppy Seconds ad-free, sign up for Forever Dog Plus at foreverdogpodcast.com/plus.
Sloppy Seconds is produced by Forever Dog and Moguls of Media.
M.O.M. Hosted by Big Dipper and Meatball. Mixed and mastered by William Pitts.
Executive produced by Willem Belli, Alaska Thunderfuck, Brett Boehm, Joe Cilio, and Alex Ramsey.
Our artwork is drawn by Christian Cimarroni.
And our theme song was written by Mike Malarkey.